It was this scene right here, right there in Masters of the Universe Revolution, where Prince Adam had to give a speech because his dad passed away, and all them people right there, all these random people, I never seen these people before, and I know damn well we ain't getting no figures and no different people like this, and I do understand why would we get characters like this, they just background characters, but if it wasn't for them background characters, the heroes would have nobody to protect, you know what I'm saying? All these random ass people, all these people, I want people like this in my collection, so therefore, I'm gonna do just that. And right here, folks, I've been at it for the past couple months, making different background characters for every faction in the Motu line, plus making up my own factions. And I've got over 250 plus figures. Now, all of them right there, they don't count. Those are just customs I made in the Motu form because I love their form factor. But right here, everybody you see on all these different shelves, now those, yeah, maybe I can work them in another time, but they don't count either. Them up there, yup, that counts in my multiverse section, which you'll see towards the end of the video. But all these other ones right here, yup, those are ones I've added to the Motu line, plus ones that I bought off other people. And in this video, we're gonna cover every faction. First up, we got the Orc faction. Now, I'm starting off with that one because they only got one member right here, King Angor. He's the king of all the orcs, and he messed up. He got caught up in some type of P. Diddy-like scandal, and every single member of his faction, they left. They wasn't dealing with it. So now here's the sole member of the Orc faction, and as you'll see through the course of the video, you'll see orcs in every other faction in the line. And now you know why. But the first faction is the Heroic Warriors, and we're gonna start off with He-Man and his crew. As you can see right here, I put every member that we got released so far in the Origins line for the Heroic Warriors. And they got a lot. They got more than Horde's crew, more than Skeletor's crew, and I'm pretty sure they got more than the Snake Men, but that shit is close. But right here you can see every single member. So they deep. You know what I mean? They don't need too many people, so I'm not adding too many people, because then it would just be ridiculous. We got all these heroes. They need people to protect. I'm going to show all them in a minute. But as far as the Heroic Warriors go, that's what we're working with, folks. A whole bunch of figures. So I'm going to show you each one I added, a number by their name, a name that I gave them. And that's it. Starting off, we got Ant-Man is number 2. This figure, I had to put him in there. And since there's only one other insect person in the whole Heroic Warriors, which is Buzz Off, so he'll fit right in just fine. He's got super strength and ready to put in that work. Now right here we got Shaman. I wanted to add more diversity with the Heroic Warriors, so they hired his ass right on the spot. He's very tech savvy, which is why he got that robotic arm right there that can shoot flames or whatever else he needs to get the job done. And now Man-at-Arms has somebody to be able to help him build new things. Next up we got Voltrex. I wanted some type of elemental person for He-Man's crew, and since he can shoot electricity out of his body, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. And if there's ever a power outage, his ass can help keep the lights on, so he's definitely got job security. Definitely somebody you wouldn't want to cross on a rainy day. Up next we got Battle Cab Man made by MegaCustomX. This figure, I love it because it's basically Battle Cat made into a figure, and I've always wanted something like that. I can make this all make sense by Orko doing a spell that turned Battle Cat into an actual person, and I'm pretty sure he wouldn't want to be changed back. Right here we got Rhino Man, done by Bombstaroutkast Customs, and he got this shit right on the money. This was based off some artwork done by Mark Taylor, and he was also featured on the box art for Panther, right there on the side standing next to Fisto. This is a much needed figure for my collection, and for the Heroic Warriors, look at his ass. He's a big ass Rhino Man, so he's definitely gonna hurt somebody, but he's the last person I'm adding to this faction. And right here, folks, we got every single new member standing next to the other ones. And like I said, I wasn't adding that many because they don't need that many. There's other factions that I've added over 20 plus people, but this one right here, perfect. By the end of this video, each faction is gonna have around this many people. You know what I mean? Plus all the other groups that I got going on, in addition to all the other background people that these guys are gonna protect, it's a lot. Now right here, I wanted to expand on these different races. You got your bee people, you got your bird people, Moss Man, Cosmic Enforcers. They all got family, and they all deserve a spot in the Motu line. Let's start off with the bee people. It's very easy to make use of all those extra buzz-off bucks by just giving them a different head. Now right there, that's the king bee. You know what I mean? So I gave him that extra vest and the belt. Right there is his enforcer, next to him his bodyguard. And right there you see an orc. His ass had to join, you know what I mean? I told you, they split up, and there's gonna be orcs everywhere. And that's the orc that joined the bee group. And that's a nice little group right there. I could always add more heads, but for now, this is a good jumping off point for the bee people. Right here, we got the bird people, and they got even more members. Starting off right there with an orc, he had to join up. And then they had some random person, you know what I mean, join in with them too. Because all they gotta do is wear that backpack and some wings, and that's all you need to join. They don't discriminate neither. It ain't just all half-naked people with no boots on and nothing like that. But as far as all the other Avion members go, a different head gets the job done. And then right there, that's the king of the Avion people right there in the middle. You got all his guards right next to him. Other people that are related to Stratos, they all look the same because they all got that mask. But each head is just a little bit different. You know what I mean? Special thanks to MegaCustomX for all these perfect heads. Definitely check his ass out if you need some extra ones, as that's where I got the B ones from too. But right there, that group is looking husky. And just like Buzz-Off, that Stratos body is easy to find in the wild and is pretty cheap. Now right here, we got Moss Men. This was another figure I had to make use of all my extra Moss Men bodies. And all I had to do, like the previous ones, get a different head. There's an orc right there, a couple of them. And that one, matter of fact, that's the king of the Moss Men, followed by two of his minions right there, ready to put that work in. And as y'all can see right there on top of that rock, Moss Man ain't the only one growing that fine ganja for all of Eternia. That's what all Moss Men do. That's how they get down. That's how they make money. And that's how this group supports itself. The drug dealers. What else can I say? But I'm glad to add it in the line. And then right here, we got the Cosmic Enforcers, the Omega Squadron. Now, I know Wondar, he ain't a Cosmic Enforcer. He just rocks that vest in black. But in my Motu universe, let's say that he was. And let's just say that he came from a group within the Cosmic Enforcers, the Omega Squadron. And these are his other team members. They a bunch of killers. You see all these guys right here? Oh, I love the way they all look. They all got a job, and they all get that job done. And right there, Wondar, he ended up, you know what I'm saying, flying solo. But if he ever wants to meet up with his other group members, here they are right here. A nice mixed group of all different races. You even see one of the Dino Men in there, one of the orcs in there. They even got Jules Winfield from Pulp Fiction up in there. Right here, the other elite members of the Cosmic Enforcers, the Alpha Squadron. And this group is even more diverse. You see an orc, another Dino Man in there. Does he want to do something better with his life? Same thing with Stinkor's brother right there. He wanted to be a Cosmic Enforcer, so his ass joined up. And then right there, this particular group, the Omega Squadron, they got quite a few of them orcs in there. Cosmic Enforcers, they offer free health care, free dental, a great 401k plan, and to top it off, they don't even got to worry about paying rent. Basically like joining the army, you know what I mean? And I don't blame them. That's why you see even Snake Men in there. They don't care. These guys want to save money and also do better in their life. So that's why the Alpha Squadron was formed. And now Zodak isn't alone in my whole Motu universe I got going on. But there's one person that rules over all these Cosmic Enforcers, and that man is right here, the team leader, MHA. This amazing figure was made by LunarEclipseCustoms, and he got this figure looking so good. This is one of my personal favorites, and for obvious reasons, he made him that BFG in one hand, and in the other hand, the almighty axe of destruction. This is one figure you don't want to mess with, him and his group. Bunch of dangerous people. They are definitely stacked in numbers, and I love how the Cosmic Enforcer faction came out. But let me tell y'all something, we didn't even get started yet. This is just the beginning, and we got all the other factions to go over. Up next is the Evil Warriors. Now, as y'all can see right here, I got every single member of Skeletor's crew right in front of your ass. And it's a nice amount. You know, they got their numbers pretty stacked. Whole bunch of diverse characters, and they even got a Snake Man up in their crew. But I think they need more. So let's just say the Skeletor, he put the word out on the street that he's looking for some top quality goons to come put in that work for the evil warriors. And I know it looks like he's got quite a lot of men on his group, but we can always do better. And I kind of like just making bad guys up. It's a lot more fun making bad than good. So right there it is, folks. Every single member of the evil warriors, and I'm gonna try to double that shit up, or at least get close to it. This is gonna be a mix of some figures that I wish they would bring to the Origins line, and some figures that I just think look good for the evil warriors. Starting off, we got Badger and Tuvar, two figures I am waiting on for Mattel to make, but I don't feel like waiting on the ass. They take too long. They gave us the cartoon collection version, but I don't like the way they look. I'm waiting for that Origins version. But until then, I got these two right here, and they look pretty good to me. I did take the vest off the cartoon collection ones and put it on them. But other than that, they look perfect and a welcome addition to the crew. And then right here, we got the Green Goblin at number 45. I figured Skeletor could use another spellcaster in his group. And with his ability to manipulate fire, with his magical staff right there, Skeletor hired him right on the spot. Now, obviously, this figure is inspired by the Green Goblin from the Marvel Universe, but it's all right because it looks good in this setting. I had to make use of that Necroconda buck somehow, and it worked really good with this. Up next, we got a pair of Skelecon Warriors. Now, these are some figures that I am just waiting on for Mattel to make. Instead, they gave us the Skeleton Warriors, but I wish we would have got these. They look so badass. Now, I ended up getting this kit from Iguana Figures right there on eBay. It came with the vest, it came with the hat, it came with the face, and weapons. And I just colored it all in, put it together, and it came out great. Now with these two, I figured I might as well mutate their ass up. So I got some mutated Skelecon Warriors, and I love the way these look. I ended up getting both of those heads off of two different buyers on eBay. And obviously the bodies are from the Turtles of Grayskull mutated He-Man and the Slacker figure. We're throwing it together in that combination. Wow! Oh, that looks so good. He's got that big-ass weapon in his hand. I took the feet off of Skeletor from the Masterverse version to give him naked feet. But other than that, I like them both. Coming up next in spot number 50, we got Lieutenant Bojangles. Now, since they gave us all them Skeleton Warriors, I figured I might as well expand on that. So I used the Scareglow body, gave him some nice armor, the head I got off eBay, and I got a nice lieutenant to go put them Skeleton Warriors to work. Next up, we got Dug Up, because Skeletor dug his ass up and put him to work. I love the way this one looks. I had to give him that nice armor, color in the bottom of that armor black, and then once again, I made good use of the Scareglow buck by adding it onto this figure. That head I got off of eBay. Same guy that made the other head made that one, and I like it. Right here, we got the Skeleton High Priest, because why not? As you'll see later on in the video, a couple of the other factions, they got High Priests, so Skeletor needs one too. This was all from a head that I seen on eBay, and once I seen it, I already knew what I wanted to do. That's how all my customs pretty much starts with the head. As long as the head looks good on the body, I'll make it work. Right here, we got 2 Chains. Now, I got a little backstory for him. This was a palace guard that Skeletor ended up capturing, and just to torture his ass, he cut off both his hands and gave him 2 ball and chains for him to drag around for the rest of his life while he's a prisoner. So that's why he's got big-ass arm and leg muscles, and eventually, after years of being a prisoner, he ended up working for Skeletor. Right here, we got Dino Men. Now, I know this figure is coming to Mattel Creations on the 25th of September, but like I told you of other figures, I don't feel like waiting. I didn't know that they was going to release his ass this month, so I made him last month, and I thought he came out pretty good. Now, once the Mattel version comes in, I'll put him on the shelf. Now, right here, we got Batros, another member that I wish they would add to the Motu Origins line. I could definitely see him being part of the cartoon collection, but until then, he joined the group. This guy, he looks like he works for the evil Horde, but he doesn't. He just likes rocking that logo right there on the chest. For number 56, we got Panther Man. Now, this one was made by MegaCustomX, but with the vest that he came with, he had the Spike-Or vest. I had to change that up. So I ended up giving him that custom vest, colored in both the wristbands and the belt to match. gave him that custom purple chest. And I love the way he looks. It's supposed to be a panther, was turned into a figure. Up next, we got Raven in his bird form. This was made by Bombstaroutkast Customs, and this figure is a throwback from the cartoon. He was only in like one episode. This is a spy for Skeletor. He would be a cool addition to add to the cartoon collection, but I'm glad that I got his ass here. And then right there is his Raven form. Bombstaroutkast Customs got that face looking so good. Got that Mr. Magoo looking face on his ass. A very creative use of using the Screech body. I could definitely see this being a 2-pack for the cartoon collection, because you need both. You know what I mean? You can't just have one than the other. But I'm sure Mattel would just give us a little tiny plastic version like they did with Catra. Right here we got Kimura. I'm hoping I'm saying that shit right. And this was made by Customizador. I got this from his Etsy store. And when I seen this, a Minotaur, oh, I knew I needed him in my collection. This is something I'm surprised Mattel hasn't put to good use yet, using some of them tiger bucks to make different type of figures, but Customizador did it, and he knocked that shit out the park. This is a top-level goon to be able to protect Snake Mountain. Now right here we got a hoverbot, and this was made by Talos Dream Shop, right there on Etsy. Now I know we got the versions for the Evil Horde, you know what I mean, that the hoverbot Prime, but this one right here is way bigger than that. It's perfect. Last but not least, for the Evil Warriors, we got Scaredy Cat. Now this cat belongs to Scare Glow for obvious reasons, and yes, it does glow in the dark. I got this off of eBay from a seller who painted his ass up. I like the way it looks. I always felt the Origins line could use more animal figures, and this was definitely a creative way to add another one up in the group. All in all, folks, there it is. We got all the new members that joined the Evil Warriors. And with all the other ones in the background, you can see their numbers is stacked. And right there, Skeletor, he's happy. He might not have the happy face on, but his ass is still happy regardless. Even though we pretty much got every single Evil Warrior that was released in the vintage version on the Origins line, I always feel like there's nothing wrong with adding more. And this is definitely a colorful bunch to add. Look at that shit. It keeps on going. They pretty much doubled their numbers, so all the other factions, they better watch their back. Because the Evil Warriors, they coming. They coming to rule all of Eternia. Look at all them figures. A couple of standout ones in this group. I'm loving that 2 Chains. The name works perfect for him, and I just like the way he looks. Same thing with the Skeleton figures. But I got a couple more groups that got some dangerous looking figures, and I cannot wait to go over the next group coming up. But as far as Skeletor and his Evil Warriors go, they're ready for all the smoke. Up next, we got the Snake Men. Oh, I cannot wait to cover this one. Now, as far as the Snake Men go for the Origins line, King Hiss, Lady Slither, and all the different snake people in between, they is stacked. I mean, they probably got more warriors than every other faction so far. Look at this shit, folks. And guess what? They ain't done yet. We still got some more snake people coming, and they just keep on getting better and better. The Snake Men never disappoint me. They might be my favorite faction in the Origins line, besides maybe the Evil Horde, or actually the group that I added to the Evil Horde, but we'll get into that later. But as far as this group goes, let me show y'all overhead view real quick. Now I know there's 2 different leaders kinda, you know what I mean, because Lady Slither and King Hiss, they got their own set of Snake Men. Plus some of the other Snake Men, they just like being, you know what I'm saying, grimy. So they might not work together as a whole, but in a group, they got the numbers. We about to add to them numbers with the first person, number 62, Snake Ramman. Now the reason I added him was basically because of my Motu stories I got going on. Ramman ended up joining the Snake Men because he saved King Hiss's life. And with joining the Snake Men, he lost all the weight. And now his ass is in shape. Right here we got Poser. This Snake Man, he used to be a palace guard, but he ended up getting fired. So he ended up taking his ass over to the Snake Men, dressed up like a Snake Man. And they welcomed his ass in too. They could always use more people. Plus he had that inside information being an Eternian guard. And that's always a benefit to the Snake Men. Right here we got Constrictor. Now this was a guy that never wanted to work as an Eternian guard. So he just straight up asked the Snake Men for a job. They said you gotta look the part to be the part. And his ass looks the part. He ended up killing the snake and wearing that as a helmet just to show that he can handle himself in a fight. His alliance is with King Hiss and only King Hiss. Right here we got Diablo and Jafar. Now this is a team of snake brothers that used to be members of the Carney faction, which I'll show later on in the video, but then they ended up joining back with the Snake Men. That one right there, Jafar, he had an operation done. He needed 2 cybernetic arms because his arms got cut off in a freak accident. But these are 2 dangerous snake brothers you wouldn't want to mess with. Right here we got Temptress. Now, she is the sister of Lady Slither, and she's loose. You know what I'm saying? She gets around. But it's all right, because there ain't that many snake women out there, and they gotta make babies somehow. You know what I mean? Her goal is to eventually take out her sister and rule the Snake Men. Right here we got Boa. This is one big-ass, badass snake. And with his backstory, he was outcast from the Snake Men by King Hiss because he felt threatened, because he was big as shit. So what King Hiss did was he took out his eye, and that's what they do to any snake that gets outcast. So right now his alliance is with Lady Slither. Same thing with his little brother Viper. This is a midget snake that was also outcast by King Hiss. He ended up taking that left eye out. Just so everybody knows, you don't trust him, he was banned from us. So that's another one that rocks out with Lady Slither. And he's definitely giving off those Rocket Raccoon vibes from the Guardians of the Galaxy, you know what I mean? Because he's small, he's got cybernetic enhancements in the arms, and he's ready. Same thing with his brother, Black Mamba, the third snake that was outcast by King Hiss because he felt he might try to take his spot as ruler of the Snake Men. So that's why his alliance also falls with Lady Slither. Him and his 2 brothers plan on eventually taking out King Hiss and ruling all of the Snake Men. But until then, they gonna work for Lady Slither until the time is right, and then they gonna get their revenge. Up next, we got Poison. Now this is a Snake Man that also works for Lady Slither, and he had an operation done by the creator, which we'll meet later on in the video, and he enhanced his arm to be able to shoot poison out, because he got poison in his body that he could bite people, but he wanted to get that poison out quicker. So with that poison cannon on his arm, he's one you don't want to mess with. Right here we got Gaboon in his invisible form. Now Gaboon, he works for King Hiss, and he's got the power to turn invisible, sneak up on people with that magic snake staff in his hand. And right there, that's his invisible version. It all glows in the dark. The first 100% glow-in-the-dark figure. And I love the way he looks. He works as a personal spy for King Hiss just because of that power, as nobody sees his ass coming. For number 71, we got Crate. Now this is just a regular goon squad type of snake man that works for Lady Slither. But he wants to become more, you know what I mean? He wants to marry her. Just like, what was it, Lord Grass? Want a piece of that ass? Well, he wants a piece of that ass too. But he ain't gonna get it, because all he's good for is killing palace guards. Right here, we got the Snake Prince Snake Man. Now, this is an interesting backstory, because King Randor ended up back in his day sleeping around, and he slept with Lady Slither, and that's how they made this guy right here. To make sure that nobody in Eternia found out about what happened, King Randor never missed a child support payment. So that's why his ass lives with the Snake Men, and that's where he's gonna stay. Right here we got Basil. Now this is just your bottom tier Snake Man, Goon Squad style. You know what I mean? Background character. He wishes he could be more, but he'll never be more, because he's just a regular ass snake, and he works for King Hiss. Sure does suck to be him, right? Right here we got King Serpent. Now this is the king of all the Snake Men, but he was banished by a magical spell in Preternia, but he made it back to current times, and he's gonna get his revenge on both Lady Slither and King Hiss, and he's eventually gonna get his numbers up and be the true ruler again of the Snake Men. This is one badass figure I made a year ago, and I still like him today. Now right here we got Cobra Claw, made by El Customizador, and this was another one I bought off his Etsy store. This is probably the first one that I ever bought off him. It caught my eye because it looked different. Decked out in all that gold with them double claws. Yeah, that's a win-win in my book. I needed them. Right here's another one he made, Emperor Khan. And this is one crazy-ass looking snake. When I seen him have 2 hands for heads, right there with that snake body, now I know that King Hiss's snake form kind of looks like that, but this is way better than that. And I needed this one for my collection. He did a great job on this one, and I love the way that tail looks. Up next, we got the High Priest Pythonus. Now this was made by MegaCustomX, and I absolutely love this figure. I love his ass so much that I ended up buying 5 of them. I wanted all these figures. It's rare, and it makes it more rare the more that I own. And then right there next to him is his little snake pet that was made by the Secrets of Orko. They did a collaboration that made a little accessory pack that was definitely worth getting for my Snake Man collection. Highly recommend it. And there it is, folks. The Snake Man group. They just got even deeper than they were. And I love all the extra additions. I think they all match perfectly well. And with the backstories that I came up for most of these figures, I would definitely like to see that shit play out in some Motu stories. The Snake Men in general, there's a grimy ass bunch of snakes. They will double cross each other whenever the time arises. But if they was just able to work together, they would be a fearsome faction to deal with for any of the other groups. But even with their numbers divided, by King Hiss taking his half, Lady Slither taking her half, they still got a lot of numbers, and way more numbers than another faction that I'm about to cover, until I end up hooking their ass up with more figures. But y'all see that shit right there, folks? That is a lot of Snake Men in front of your ass right there. Highly satisfied with the Snake faction group, but the next group that's coming up might be one of my favorites altogether. But as far as the Snake Men go, they definitely take second place. Up next, we got the Evil Horde. Oh, I can't wait. Now, as y'all can see right here, the Evil Horde, they barely got anybody. They don't got shit. They got what? Like 4 or 5 members and a bunch of Horde troopers, and that's about it. But let me tell you something, folks. It's all right, because we're going to hook their ass up. I'm going to give them a whole bunch of new members to join the squad. Because right now, Hordak, he's got a great 401k plan, free medical, free dental, free room and board. He will take care of your ass, and all you gotta do is just dedicate your life to the Horde. Up first, we got Dragster, one figure that a lot of people is waiting for the Origins line that came from the Vintage line. And right here, this looks pretty spot on of what I think they might give us. I ended up taking the Classics figure, stripping his ass down, and then hooking him up just like this to where I think I got that shit right on the money. Definitely satisfied with his ass. Right here we got Nightbite. This is a minion for the Evil Horde. He got the job pretty easily because his ass is a bat. You know what I mean? I got the loose head off of eBay. It's a Mythic Legion's head. As you can tell throughout this video, I used a lot of Mythic Legion's head for these customs. I highly recommend them, and all you need is a little bit of tacky to make them heads work. Right here we got the Horde Commander. Now this kit I got from Lee Customs. He sold the vest, he sold the belt, and he sold the head. And it's actually supposed to be from one of them Ultimate Muscle figures from back in the day, them pink ones, you know what I mean? Little pink rubber ones. But the color scheme on this looks like a Horde trooper to me, and that's why his ass is the Horde Commander. Right here we got Top Shot. Now this was a guy down on his luck. He didn't qualify to be an Eternian Palace Guard, so he ended up going over there. He heard about the benefits that Hordak had to offer, and he needed that free medical and dental, so he signed up right away. His special skill is he's good with them guns, and everybody needs a shooter on their team. So if Hordak needs somebody shot, Top Shot is the guy to do it. Right here we got the Horde High Priest, and like I told y'all before, every faction needs a High Priest, and it just so happened that the Evil Horde was needing members, and that Orc was in need of a faction. Bada bing, bada boom, his ass joined the Evil Horde. He's got magical powers. He's one that you don't want to mess with. And now that he's got that 401k plan, he's set for life. Right here we got Congo. And this guy is the official flag holder for the Evil Horde. When they start marching up on people with all their Horde troopers, this guy is right there in the front with the flag so people know, even though all the Evil Horde is just decked out in all the Evil Horde gear. And you'll see that with every single member. They got that strap on the arm, they rock the boots, and they rock another logo somewhere. And right here we got Terok, the Demon King. Now this guy strictly joined the Evil Horde just for the benefits. You know what I mean? He was retired, and he just wanted to make sure he would be set for life. And with joining the evil Horde, yep, your ass is set. You just gotta put in that work. And he's got magical powers. They could always use more spell people in the Horde. I love the way he looks, and he definitely looks the part. Up next, we got Trader. So with his backstory, he got fired from being a palace guard as his ass got caught stealing. Then after that, he got hired by the Snake Men. But once he found out about the benefits of working for the evil Horde, he switched up real quick. He's a goddamn traitor. And that's why they gave him the name Trader, because they can't trust his ass, but they needed more people. Up next, we got Brawler. This was an orc that ended up joining up with the evil Horde, and they made good use of his ass, because he's big body. He's willing to get his hands dirty, and he didn't even care about the benefits. He just didn't want to be a member of the orc faction. This was a perfect use of the Turtles of Grayskull Krang figure body, which I use a few more times in this video. Up next, we got the Horde General. This figure looks badass to me. With that Mythic Legion's head, it worked perfectly with that WWE Superstars cane cape. My man is dripped out head to toe in the evil Horde colors. He is standing on business, and that's why his ass is a Horde General. If it wasn't for the benefits, he probably would have took himself to Skeletor's crew. The Skeletor ain't offering shit. Next up, we got Grendel. And this orc, he left the orc faction so fast. You wouldn't know why. As his ass is older, and he needed the money. He needed them benefits. He's gonna die soon. So that's why he just deals with working for the evil Horde. He spends his days in the torture chamber, torturing prisoners with an electrocution stick. For number 92, we got Nightmare. And this guy right here, he's Hordak's cousin on his mama's side. He wanted to do his ass a favor and gave him a job, and with the benefits and all, that's a win-win. He suited his ass up with some mechanical wings, and he's actually Hordak's personal assassin. If he wants somebody killed, he just sends Nightmare in there. And if one day Hordak decides to retire, Nightmare would love to take his place as the ruler of the evil Horde. Up next, we got Blog. This was another orc that couldn't deal with the shit that was going on in his faction, so he ended up joining the evil Horde. Hordak had no hesitation in hiring his ass because he's so big body. So they hooked him up from head to toe with the evil Horde logos. He's basically a big old walking, talking billboard, but his ass don't mind at all. Up next, we got Slime Pit He-Man. This was made by Rizzo's Customs, and I love how he hooked this shit up. Now I know it looks a little bit different. Looks like somebody just, you know what I'm saying, released all over his ass, but it gives him that old school vintage slime pit look to me, and I'm loving the dark around the eyes of medicine looking motherfucker. Perfect for the evil Horde in my Motu collection. Up next, we got Dark Menace. This was made by Customizador, and when I seen his hairy ass, I knew I had to get it. The airbrushing he did right there on the face and how it just goes into the hair. Oh, I love the way that looks. I wish Mattel would do stuff like this and give us other people of the same race as Grizzlord. But until then, I got Dark Menace. Up next, we got Despair. This figure was created by MegaCustomX, and this evil-looking crow. Oh, I love his ass. Them eyes, the eyes that did it for me. His ass just looks right into your soul. And to top it off, it looks like he got some hands on him. I can fuck you up. With those custom wings and that custom belt, that just tops the cake. Beautiful looking figure. Now right here we got Night Creep, another evil medicine bird type creature that joined the evil Horde. It's the purple coloring on him that really makes him pop. And I love that magic stick that he got in his hands. These evil Horde members keep on getting better and better. And I am so glad to be able to get Night Creep in my collection. When palace guards see him coming, they ass run the other way, because they don't want no parts of him. And right here we got Snake He-Man. A little backstory for his ass. So back when King Randor had his one-night stand with Lady Slither, she ended up having a couple babies. And when she laid them eggs, Hordak ended up stealing one of them. He took it back to his base and raised him as his own. He has grown up to be a force to be reckoned with. Great job on him, MegaCustomX. Do y'all see that fucking face? Oh, it looks so good. He-Man better watch out. Now up next, we got Glacier. This was made by Secrets of Orko, and I absolutely love an ice figure. Oh my God, with them fists right there. They are made for punching. They are made for hurting. Mattel really needs to bring us different elemental people in the Origins line, but this one definitely does it for me with all that ice on his ass. Up next, we got Calyx. He was featured in the Classics line, and now his ass is here in the Origins line. Just like Glacier, this is one that I would not want to be punched by, because if he punches you with those fists of rock, they're breaking bones. That's why Horde would have his ass working the dungeons, torturing palace guards, getting that information he needs, because they gonna give that shit up. Last but certainly not least, for the evil Horde, we got Magmar. And look at those fucking fists, big ass swords, this molten lava rock type of person. He's dangerous, he looks hot, and he is hot. Now when the Secrets of Orko made this figure, along with the other ones, they got different types of hands. You know what I mean? They got normal versions with wrist gauntlets, but I kept all the fist versions on each of these because that shit looks badass. And there it is, folks. Every single new member for the evil Horde, and they grew from a team that was so small now to one of the most menacing factions in the Origins line. Oh shit! You see this? A whole bunch of killers, straight killers. Horde is so lucky, and with that free medical and dental and that 401k plan, they ain't going nowhere. He got them for life. Now the one downside for some of them is they all gonna have to convert to cannibalism, because like I told you in my Motu stories, that's how Horde and his people get down. They eat people up. But they all gonna convert over because they ain't trying to miss out on them benefits. And then to top it off, Horde got the Horde Troopers. Oh my God, that is a whole bunch of figures that nobody wanna get in beef with. But guess what? Now it's time to get into all the extra factions that I added that will go against all these other factions that give them a run for their money. But for what I'm seeing right here, I would say the evil Horde, they got some of the dangerous members thus far, and Horde is happy as shit about it. Up next, folks, we got Killer Cyborgs. This is the newest faction right here. And to start it off, we got H1. Now, the creator is the leader of this faction, and this was his first attempt to make a robot He-Man. And in my whole Motu universe, he's actually the one that created Faker. I know it was Skeletor and whatnot, but no. In my world, it was him, but this was his first attempt, and it didn't come out quite right, but he's still dangerous as shit. Now right here, we got H2. This is the more advanced model. In all the different versions, they come with a plasma sword of power. They could also shoot flames, but this one can fly. So that's what makes him a little bit different than the previous model. He's giving off those Michael Jackson robot vibes, you know what I'm saying? With that all silver face and shit, it looks hot. Right here we got H3, and he got a little bit closer to getting that look of He-Man, but not quite. This one comes equipped with a chainsaw arm to cut people up. He got his plasma sword of power like always, and as you can see, this one had the organic skin that was going over his body, but it didn't quite get there all the way. So the creator had to get back to the drawing board and make a new model, which brings us to H4. This dangerous looking killer right here. His ass can grow in height similar to Extendar. He's got the double plasma power swords. And just like the last model, the organic skin didn't take to the metal. So the creator just gave up and just decided to give him fully robotic arms. This man is a killer with his primary objective to find He-Man and take him out. Right here we got Slice Dice. Now this was a palace guard he ended up knocking out so he could do experiments on. He chopped up his body parts and gave him robotic new ones. He ended up cutting a piece of his brain out, and in the process, he ended up slicing his face off, and then he just tried to glue it on back. He also gave him two big-ass blades as his primary weapon, so he could slice people up. But let me show you something with this face real quick. You see that shit right there? You see the side of that face? He just stuck it on there, but he didn't care enough to actually put the face on 100%. So that's why you see all that hamburger meat and stuff like that. Just the raw meat in the face. I like the way that came out. For those that recognize it, it was an accessory that came with a Freddy Krueger figure. And I made good use of it on this. Here's the other side of the face. Yeah, it's looking pretty crazy. But I wanted to try something different. I wanted to give him blood splatter all over his body because he slices people up. He doesn't know what else to do. He doesn't have the mind like a palace guard anymore. At number 107, we got Blowtorch. And this was another palace guard that he ended up capturing and doing some crazy demented work on. He replaced 65% of his body with cybernetic parts, and then he gave him 2 big-ass blowtorches for each hand. Is anyone him chopping up people like the last guy, getting all bloodied up? So he figured he could just burn people up. Up next, we got Robo-Ork. Now, this was an orc that obviously didn't want to stay in the faction that he was in, and he needed a place to go. And the creator was more than welcome to take him in and chop his ass up and add all types of cybernetic parts to him. So now he is an unstoppable warrior and a force to be reckoned with. Like the last 2 people, he doesn't have any memory of his previous life. Up next, we got Spy-Man. Now, in my Motu universe, Skeletor pretty much killed Mechanic with the land shark, and then he ended up taking his dead body over there to the creator, where he sold that shit for money, and the creator ended up bringing him back to life, giving him all types of cybernetic parts, and put that long neck to good use. Gave him the new name of Spy-Man. He also doesn't remember his previous life. Last but not least, we got the Creator. This is the person that made all those different cyborgs that you just seen. He's a crazy motherfucker. He doesn't care. He cut his own forearms off and gave himself cybernetic new ones to create any type of weapon he needs to fight off any type of foe. Back when he was a kid, King Randor used to fuck with him, and that's why he has a hatred for He-Man, and that's why he created all them different robots in his likeness. That's it, folks. The Killer Cyborgs, a dangerous-ass crew that will fuck you up on sight. If he gets a hold of your ass, he'll turn your ass into a cyborg too. I love the way all these came out, especially with the theme with all the different He-Man and stuff like that. That's why I said that his ass made Faker. You know what I mean? It just makes sense. The creator has no use for magic whatsoever and actually hates it with a passion and believes that technology is far superior, and he made it his life goal to prove it to the world. Even though this faction is just starting off in numbers, there's still a force to be reckoned with, and I plan on growing this faction even more as time goes on. I would say that this faction falls into my top 3 favorite. But up next, we got the Dino Men. Oh, I've been waiting to do this one. Up first, we got Frenzy. Now, all these figures right here, they're from pre-Eternia. You know what I mean? Back before Hero came back in time, and before that techno-virus ended up affecting all the dinosaurs and all the people in Eternia, giving them all that cybernetic parts and stuff like that. Yeah, they was big bossing it up back then. And Frenzy, he was just a big old bully. He loved eating up the people of Eternia, chop them up with his big-ass swords, take them back to feed the rest of his people. Right here, we got Rumble Raptor. This is another one that loved to get his hands dirty. He don't like using weapons. He's too big for that. You know what I mean? He likes to show his dominance with his big-ass muscles and just breaking necks and skulls, eating people alive. That's what all these Dino Men do. They love eating people. Before the evil Horde and stuff like that turned into cannibals, these was the original ones right here. Up next, we got Killzilla. Now, this was one of these Dino Men that the creator ended up getting his hands on, and he tried to give him all type of cybernetic parts, cut off a piece of his brain. But right before the process was complete, the Dino Men came in to save the day, and they beat the shit out of the creator's ass, but they let him live just for the sole reason of just in case if they ever need his help. Now he'll have to be there without hesitation. That was a wise move on both of their parts. Up next, we got Tyrant Titanus. Now, I see him as like how Starscream is to Megatron, like he's down to ride for the team, but he'll screw anybody over on a moment's notice whenever he gets a chance. He wants to be top dog, but he'll never be. You know what I mean? Deep inside, his ass is a hater. He cannot stand to see anybody else do better than him, and he wants to take out the leader at all costs, but he can't. He got his ass beat by the boss. That's what he gets. Up next, we got Steel Claw. Now this man, he loves to hurt. He gets pleasure by it. He gets off on that shit. With his steel claws, all the different spikes all over him, he's basically a Swiss Army knife. He loves to fight, and he loves to hunt. If the boss wants somebody taken out, this is the first person he sends to do it. And as a bonus feature, he also spits acid out his mouth, which he does to burn the faces straight off his victims. Up next, we got Choposaurus. And as the name implies, he loves to bite people up. That's what he does. That's what he does best. Now, he will use his weapon to slow people down, but once he does that, Then it's time for the torturing to go on. And he loves just biting different pieces out of people, watching them cry, and then biting them some more. Yeah, I know it sounds fucked up, but that's how he gets down. Up next, we got Dagger. He's the brother to Steel Claw, and he loves getting his hands dirty. He likes to get up close and personal with both of them weapons right there, just slicing tendons and watching people crawl, and then biting their ass up. He's got a personal vendetta with the Snake Men and vows to one day get close enough to King Hiss to take his ass out. Lastly, we got Tyrannus, and he is the leader of the Dino Men. If it wasn't for his ass, the rest of his team members would be dead. He ended up getting Eldor by himself and threatened him to send all his guys to the future because there was no worthy opponents in Praeternia. And Eldor did it because he didn't want the smoke. And when they got to present-day Eternia, they was pleasantly surprised to see a whole bunch of new faces and some old faces because they all hate all the Snake Men, especially King Hiss. Right there, folks, there's all the Dino Men. Now this faction, just like the previous one, I gotta say is in my top 3. I wish we had more dino people in the Motu line. And I know that all the dinosaurs that did exist in New Adventures of He-Man, they got affected by the techno-organic virus from Hero and basically got turned into vehicles. Now, that would have been their fate. But luckily for them, they got their ass out of Dodge and ended up going to present-day Eternia to where they could just do what they want, continue the hunt, and be one of the baddest factions out here in the Motu world. The Snake Men better watch their back, because Tyrannus and his crew, they coming for revenge and for King Hiss. Coming up next, we got the Carnies. This is the last group that I made up. And right here, the first one, we got Squeezer. And obviously his name is Squeezer. He's got them big ass hands. He loves to just squeeze the shit out of people. You know what I mean? He's one of them freaks that ended up not joining any other faction. They didn't want him. They didn't like how he was proportioned. You know what I mean? This orc needed a family, and he found it with the Carnies. Right here, we got Double Trouble. And this two-headed snake, he got shunned by the other Snake Men, and they kicked his ass out for being a freak. But in the Carnies, he's just another person, and they welcome his ass with open arms. He's big as shit, and he loves to scrap. Both of his heads always love arguing with each other. But the one thing they can agree on is the hatred they have for fellow Snake Men, because they got kicked out. Up next, we got Cyclops. Now, this is the brother of Triclops, and because of his situation with the one eye, he ain't get the special helmet like his brother got, but he does have psychic powers, and he's strong as shit. He ended up getting upgraded by the creator before the creator went truly mad and started making all types of cyborgs and shit. He hooked him up with super strength, so half of his body is metal. With his psychic powers and telekinesis, he's one not to fuck with. Right here we got Snitch. Now, he was once a loyal palace guard to King Randor, but he ended up putting his 2 cents into business and overhearing what he did with Lady Slither back in the day, and he was going to snitch his ass out to Queen Marlena. But before he had a chance to, King Randor got Orko to turn him into a big-ass rat and banished him from the kingdom. So now he joined the Carnies. Up next, we got Tiny Tom. And Tiny Tom, he's another orc that was freakishly proportioned. It ain't no other faction trying to deal with that shit. So they banished him out, and the only place that he could join that he felt welcome was the Carnies. So now his primary job for the group is to help book shows in different towns so they can keep making money and keep food on the table. Up next, we got Buck Naked. Now, Buck Naked, he's a crazy motherfucker that loves running around butt-ass naked and loves swinging them 2 axes around at anybody that looks at his ass funny. Not welcome in any other faction. He found a home with the Carnies. They love his crazy ass. And if anybody got a problem with him, they got a problem with them. And that's one type of crazy that ain't worth dealing with. Up next, we got Man Wolf. This one I got off of eBay by the same person that made me the Motu zombies. And to fill in his backstory, he used to be a palace guard that ended up crossing the skeleton high priest on a bad day, and he cursed his ass to turn into a werewolf. But the fucked up thing about it is, he could only change back to a man for 1 hour on the day of the 1-year anniversary that he got changed. Up next, we got Sid Sicko. Sid Sicko, this was an orc that was just into some weird old sicko shit, and he was kicked out of the orcs way before they disbanded. So he ended up coming across the Carnies later down the line. They took his ass in because they needed more people. Luckily for him, he's really good with knives and he loves to juggle, and that's his contribution to the group. Up next, we got Grumpy the Clown, another orc that was just depressed after the whole situation that went down with the disbanding of the orc faction. So he ended up joining the carnies, putting on makeup, and tries to help his depression by making people laugh, bringing joy to others. It helps a little bit, but other than that, he just likes to fight. He's really angry and spiteful for what the Orc King did and wants to get his revenge one day. Up next, we got Jinjo. And Jinjo, he's the strong man of the group. He was very happy to join the carnies and wanted to put his strength to good use. He loves making money, and his big thing is just carrying 3 people at the same time. He's a huge draw when they go to other kingdoms, because people aren't used to seeing big-ass orcs like this. He's also the enforcer of the group and doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. Up next, we got Frack the Lion Tamer. Now, Frack is second in command. He's got a big-ass fire lion. He's also got a hawk with him that he uses to spy on upcoming towns before they get there. Him and his twin brother got kicked out the orc faction a long time ago before they disbanded, and they were the original members of the Carney group, and they're the ones that keep everybody together. They love family because they didn't have much family back when they was with the orcs, because they was freaks. Look at their ass, shit. And now that brings us to his twin brother, Grohl the Ringmaster, the leader of the group. Because of what happened to him and his brother, he's got a definite hatred for the Orc King. And with his magical staff in hand, he possesses the power to manipulate other people's will and make them do what he wants. He's the main reason why all their shows, when they go to different towns, they sell out, because he hypnotizes them people to show up. There it is, folks. All of the Carney group. Definitely a colorful bunch. I'm gonna add more people to this group, because I like the way it's turning out. Just some freaky ass people, you know what I mean? Getting together to be one family. And that's all it's about for them. Him and his brother right there. They might not be able to beat your ass in a foot race, but if they catch you, they gonna stomp you out. Big ass feet on them motherfuckers. But in all serious though, they got strength in numbers, and I'm definitely gonna add at least 5 or 6 more people to this group. I like that at the end of the day, they're just out here trying to make some money, trying to make a living, doing what they can, working with what God gave them. Now this is the last group that I made up, but I got plenty more people to go over. Up next, we got the royalty. High class motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Right here to start it off, we got palace guards. Now, this was a very easy custom to do. Probably the easiest out of all these figures on the table, because I just added a different head. You know what I mean? Figures that I couldn't come up with per se with a body. That's why they got that naked head on them. But the other ones, you know what I mean? Motu Classics, Palace Guard heads work perfectly with the Origins buck. I personally got tired of all my Palace Guards having the same face. So now this gives it that diversity I was looking for. Right here, number 139, Executioner. Now, this big motherfucker right here, he's the person that, when somebody messes up and they break the law, King Randor sends them down to the Executioner, where he cuts their head off, or he just beats the shit out their ass, whichever one he prefers. But he loves his job, and he does his job right. Up next, we got I don't know, I can't say his name, you know what I mean? But this guy is in the Motu lore, and this custom was done by Lee Customs. He gave me the kit, which came with the head, the body, the top part of the arms, and the belt, and I put his ass together, and he came out great. Up next, we got Leonidas. This is one of the elite palace guards for King Randor, and with his enhanced strength, agility, and senses, makes his ass a master hunter. Just in case somebody tries to steal from the castle, steal from the palace, he's gonna hunt him down, he's gonna smell him, he's gonna throw that spear at him. Right here we got Ferocious. Now, this is a friend of Leonidas. They both joined together. He's also got the same abilities as Leonidas. They both grew up in the Eternian jungle, and they're glad to be able to work for the palace. They are both loyal to a T, and will do anything that it takes to be able to get the job done for King Randor. Up next, we got Zorman. Now, this main body was made by MegaCustomX, and he had some wings on the arms and shit like that. But I ended up taking that one vest from Splinter Skull, and then I took the wings from April O'Neil. Bada bing, bada boom, I gave him real ass wings, and I love the way this looks. He's a proud warrior. Right here we got Oceanus. This is the Ocean King, and he lives several miles deep in the sea. He barely comes up to do anything, but when he comes up, he's coming up to hurt somebody. He doesn't like being disturbed. He knows Merman. All the mermen, they all work for him. He's a water elemental and can manipulate water to his will. Right here we got Vulcan. He's related to Oceanus. They haven't seen each other ever since they was babies. His house sits atop a big volcano, and he is a fire elemental where he can control fire at his will. Eventually, I want to expand on his group and give him some fire minions, you know what I mean? But other than that, he's badass looking. Up next, we got the last brother, Thunderous. He controls the elements of electricity, and he lives in the desert. He's got his own big-ass pyramid that his minions built for him. If shit gets real serious in Eternia, all three brothers will come together and use all their powers to stop whatever threat risks their existence. Right here, we got the Beast King. He rules over all the Beastmen, and unlike a lot of his minions, he's highly intelligent. He's been around since the days of Preternia. Him and King Randor, they're good buddies, and he always gets some special invites to them Randor freak-offs, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Luckily for him, he was able to avoid all the scandals that happened to the Orc King. Up next, we got Prince Krust, and he's the son of the Orc King. He hates his father with a passion, and he was the one that ended up telling all the other orcs to disband. He was embarrassed and ashamed. One day, he would love to bring all his people back together and rule as the next worthy king, but only time will tell. Right here, we got the Ram King. Now, this big beastly of a man, he's got a squad of big-ass Ram men, where Ram Man originally came from, and he's actually Ram Man's uncle. Him and King Randor, they go way back. They used to go to school together, so he's definitely somebody the king can trust. He has a secret hatred for his son, though, because he wants that liquor, because that man has a sweet tooth for drinking. Up next, we got Hero. Now, this is a figure that I know eventually, maybe like a year or so, Mattel will bring him out to help finish off the New Adventures line, because they still got to do all the dinosaurs. They still got to make Eldor, and they already teased Eldor, so you know Hero is coming. But I don't like waiting on Mattel, so I made him, and he looks damn good to me. Right here we got Eldor. Of course, if I'm gonna do Hero, I gotta do Eldor, and I love the way he turned out. All I needed was the Motu Classics version. Took the vest, took the head, took the hoodie, put it on, what was it, Sunman's buck right there, with Hordax legs, and I got my ass Eldor. Right here we got Queen Osira. Now she was featured when I got the Eternia playset. It came with a comic, and she was in that comic, and I knew if I had my King Grayskull, I'm gonna want to have his queen. So I ended up busting it out, making her. I used the head from the Marvel Legends Photon figure, and then a spare Evil Lyn body. Right here we got Queen Marlena. Now this custom was done by Lee Customs, and it came with the head, came with the torso, top part of the arms, the belt, and the dress, and I just made the rest. And I love the way this looks. I know that this has to come to the cartoon collection, but until then, I gotta. Right here we got Prince Alexander. Now a little backstory for him. He is the half-son of Queen Marlena and a palace guard, okay? She ended up messing around back when she first started being the queen, and the king found out. He had that palace guard stomped out and gave him to Skeletor, who turned him into 2 Chainz. Right here we got Bastard. Now this is the illegitimate son of He-Man and Evil Lyn. To keep his identity hidden and to avoid any scandals for the king had sent him to live with bullocks in the Eternian jungle, and he's lived there ever since, but he wants to find out who his real father is, and he will one day. Right here we got 2000X King Grayskull. This is a figure I think Mattel might make, but since they already got the other King Grayskull, you know, it's a low probability. But I knew I had to have him in my collection. He exists in the Motu Classics line, and I think this one looks badass. I got the head from an amazing customizer on Instagram, and I definitely gotta get some more. Right there, folks, that's it. All the royalty people in Eternia come together. I had to put them all in their own group, you know what I mean? They're not a faction, they just exist. And this is a great example of background characters expanding the Origins line, with a couple of these figures being people that I hope Mattel would bring out, like Queen Marlena, while a couple of other ones I just think would work out, like Bastard and Prince Alexander. He-Man needs some more relatives, and especially an illegitimate son like Bastard. I love the way he came out. Look at his little ass right there. Little badass motherfucker. Right here, with all the palace guards and elite palace guards of the Executioner. I love the way all of them look. It's fun expanding on the royal empire of King Randor. And I'm really thinking about doing a little mini-series of all the trials and tribulations of the people that work underneath of him. Maybe something like cops, but instead of cops, it's called palace guards. You know what I mean? I think that shit might be pretty funny. Right here, we got good people. Good people. First up, we got Sir Laser-Lot. This was the character. Came right from the Classics line. And before that, he was a finalist in the Creative Figure Contest from back in the day. And upon doing some research on Preternia, he used to be in King Grayskull's group as one of the Masters of the Universe. I thought that shit was pretty interesting. Right here, we got Bo. Now, we all know he's from the She-Ra line, you know what I mean, the cartoon. And I know that he's coming to the cartoon collection, so I had to make him for the Origins line. I took the pieces from the Motu Classics one, which worked perfectly on the Origins body. And there we go, I got Bo. Up next, we got Space Ace. Now, this was based on one of the 3 original designs that they came up with to create the whole Masters of the Universe line with He-Man. This was one of the options they had to pick from. He never really made the cut, but they ended up bringing him out later in the Classics line and in the Masterverse line, which is how I got Tank Top. Same thing with him. Both accessories came with the Masterverse Vicron figure, and it was definitely worth making an Origins figure. I had to order 3 sets so I could get 3 different heads, but if you just want 1 set, you can still make them both with the armor. You just won't have that additional Vicron head. And right here we got Vicron. I had to make him into a Origins version, as if I'm making the other 2. You goddamn right, I might as well make him. And it was pretty much easy to make the pieces fit. A little finagling was necessary for some of the straps, but other than that, it's just a swap and put on. I highly recommend making them 3. Right here we got the Mighty Spectre. Now this figure was made by Scott Knightlick to put himself in the Motu Classics line as his own personal figure. And I like it. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they hate on this figure. Looks like a Motu Deadpool, you know what I mean? But it works. And I had to try it. Making this one, I cut the shit out my finger. Right here we got Tug of War, made by Bombstaroutkast Customs. And I believe this figure was featured in some of the old vintage mini comics or one of the old cartoon comic books. Whatever it was, I'm glad that he made him. He's got that big ass paddle to beat the shit out of people with, and also his signature rope to play some tug of war with. He looks cool to me. Right here we got Red Shadow and Skrismovit. I don't know how to say that shit. Another one made by Bombstaroutkast Customs. This figure can be seen in the background of the Moss Man box art, and I think he looks pretty spot on to the artwork. Bombstaroutkast has been on a roll of making obscure Motu figures, and I'm definitely glad I was able to add them to my collection. Right here we got Sir Pincelot. Now this was one that I made from a Mythic Legion's custom torso, right there with that crab. I was able to finagle them arms in there, and they fit in there well. I had to shave him down a little bit, but I think he looks pretty decent. Having a 4-armed crab, it makes sense to me. Up next is Sordo, the Scale Buster. A good guy that didn't join any faction at all. He believes that if you want something done right, you just do it yourself. And he loves taking his big-ass sword and chopping down any bad guy that gets in his way. A badass-looking knight figure. The Mythic Legion heads get the job done. Right here we got Chop Chop. Now this head, it was made by Lee Customs, and a lot of these old retro-looking heads that you'll see coming up came from Lee Customs. This looks like your perfect example of a background figure for the Motu Origins line. He got 2 axes. You know what he does with them? He chops shit up. Right here we got Pissant. Now, I know that you're seeing in the very beginning, the first figure I think I showed for the Heroic Warriors was his brother, Ant-Man. Pissant, he didn't make the cut. He's still growing up, but one day he would love to be able to join the Heroic Warriors right there with his brother. Right here we got Motu Man, made by Kenzo Creations. He created this figure from head to toe, and I love the way it came out. I love Motu in general, and seeing him as a Motu figure, just like how we seen Cringer and Panther Man and Zor Man. It all makes sense to me. Everybody deserves to be able to have their own body to walk around in. Right here we got Apollo. This one I used the head from a Motu Classics figure. I forget what the name is, but I know some of y'all watching this know the name. And I want to just make some type of lion man, you know what I mean? Somebody that came from royalty. He almost made the cut in the royalty section, but instead I'd rather him just be morally good. Right here we got Rufus. This was a custom kit made by Lee Customs. It came with the head, it came with the vest, and it came with the skirt, and that was it. I gave his ass a body. He based this on one of these background figures in one of the old comics from Motu, and I thought he looks pretty good. Definitely had to add him to the collection. For number 173, we got Oscar. The head came from the AWOC line, and I love all their different head sculpts. I can't wait when they come out with their new wave of figures, as I want to buy them up so I can take them heads and put them on more Motu bodies. He's giving me them Caesar type vibes, you know what I mean, from Planet of the Apes. This is a perfect addition to add to the line. Right here we got Announcer. He was featured in my Eternia Toe episode 3. And in that video, which was one of the only videos where I had a couple different people do some voice acting, he was played by Rob from Masters of the Mini Comics. Definitely check his channel out. But his job right there is the announcer for any fight that goes on in Eternia. Same thing with commentator. That's his right-hand man right there. And if you need a fight to be covered, and you want that shit to be broadcasted all across Eternia, you call them two men right there. They got their own minions that work with them. And they get paid. They get paid well. Mega J Retro did the voice for that guy in that video. Right here we got Bullocks. And this was the surrogate father of Bastard. He took care of him in the Eternian jungle. He raised his little badass since he was an infant. And he tried to instill good morals in him. He does know who the real mother and father is of Bastard, but he would never tell him the truth. He doesn't want him to turn out like his badass dad, Drunk He-Man. Next up, we got Mohawkosaur. Now, this is one of them heads I got from Lee Customs. They did from some retro bootleg figure. Just like with any custom I do, it all starts with the head. So I try to give him a little body, you know what I mean? Something that will look right on his ass. He was a Dino Man that never made the cut for the Dino team. Right here, we got Eagle Eye. And this was made by MegaCustomX. I absolutely love the way this figure looks. I wish that the Motu line would have more different, diverse bird people. And an eagle person, look at that fucking face. I know I haven't said that a long time in this video, but I am very impressed with that head. Right here we got Sir Knockout. And as the name implies, he loves knocking motherfuckers out. He's got a big ass hand for punching and another big ass hand for slapping the shit out of people. He's all gold because he's got money. He was close to making it into the royalty section, but instead I just wanted him to be his own man. He works on his own. Right here we got Rufus, and right here between this one and Big Jim that's coming up, they are the prime perfect example of a background figure in the Motu line. Someone you might just see in the distance like I showed early in the video. He's still strong as shit, but he's just a farmer and he's a wolf. Right here we got Birdmaster. This is one of them bootleg heads I got from Lee Customs. So that's all I had to work with. I gave him the power of being able to talk to animals, specifically birds. With his eyes right there, he can see through their eyes. Not the most amazing power, but it definitely gets the job done when he needs it. Right here we got Olaf. And this is just a standard background figure. I believe I bought the head from Wolf King Customs. They had a booth right there at one of the retro cons I went to. And he just gives them vibes of a background figure, just like that wolf guy that you just barely notice it's there, but he's there. Right here we got Jabberjaw, another one of them custom heads from Lee Customs. And I figure with this guy, he just likes to run his fucking mouth. That's why they call him Jabberjaw. He's a morally good person. And I know he looks like a bad guy, but you can't always judge the book by its cover. He's actually good in heart. He just talks too damn much. And right here we got Big Jim. Oh, I love this one right here. Lee Customs did this head modeled after the old Big Jim figure. And I had to put him in the Motu line. Besides the one wolf guy, this is the absolute definition of a background character that you might see in the comics. I absolutely love the way he came out. And that's it, folks. Not every figure has to be in a faction. And these are just morally good people. They don't want no trouble. They just want to live their lives and be good. And that's it. Sure, some of these people would have been good for the heroic warriors, but ain't got too many people. I told you all that from the beginning. I would rather just there be background people that do what they do. Same thing with morally gray people, which I'm gonna cover next. And then we got bad people. And then we got anti-eternia people. Then we got multiverse people. There's still a lot of video left. But the main purpose of this group, some of these people, they just need protected. And that's where the heroic warriors come in. But if they ain't there to do it, some of these people, they can protect themselves. They badass in their own right. And I definitely plan on adding some of these people in my Motu future stories. I need some people that just screaming for help. You know what I mean? They need help. The villains are messing with them. And I think Big Jim, he might be the first one that I add. Look at his ass right there. Look at that fucking face. Up next, we got morally gray people. Yeah, they exist too. And up first, we got Leapfrog. Now this guy, he tried to work his way into the frogmongers because he overheard that they got special treasures deep in their dungeon. But he didn't know that they loved dealing with shit, so he ended up quitting. Right here we got Weaver. He comes from the same race as Webstore. And I think he might be related, so let's say they second cousins and shit. And this guy right here, he didn't want to be a bad guy, but he didn't want to be good neither. He just wants to make his money. Up next, we got Tough Stuff. Now this guy, he works on his own, he's a mechanic. And he's got that big ass fist just in case somebody tries to rob him. As you know, deep in the hood of Eternia, shit gets rough. And that's where he grew up at. For number 188, we got Freezor. As you can see, he's got the power to manipulate ice, create any type of ice weapon he needs. He's dangerous. He was offered a job by a couple of different factions. They would love to have an ice person on their team, but he don't want to work for nobody. And right here we got Baboon. He lives in the Eternian jungle, and he is a hunter for hire. If you need somebody found and tracked, he can find them. He almost took a job for the evil Horde, but he didn't feel like wearing all them Horde logos. Right here we got Felix. He's got his own side business, being a spy for hire. If you want somebody watched, he's the guy you want to do it. He was actually hired by King Randor. That's how he found out who Prince Alexander's father was, and he made some good money for that. Right here we got Hustler and Robota, two of the main people featured in my Eternia Toe episodes. Hustler sells everybody's vehicles to everybody in Eternia. And Robota, that's his special helper right there. She'll do anything he wants. Anything. And then right here we got Flipor and a Flipor bot. The character was made up by Mad Hatter, and he actually had a fully funded Kickstarter that happened back in April. People that pre-ordered should be getting their figures in December, but you know my ass is impatient, and I had to make myself an Origins version. That's it for the morally gray people in the Origins line. Having this group definitely made sense to me, because not everybody is wholesome, and not everybody is evil. You got some people that, you know what I mean, they'll go whichever way the wind is blowing. And that's how I consider these figures, especially Hustler and Flipor. They just in it for themselves. They ain't trying to hurt people, but if people get in their way, they're gonna have to do what they need to do. And I can't blame them. Right here we got bad people, evil motherfuckers right here. And starting off, we got Count Marzo. I had to make him, obviously I took the pieces from the Motu Classics version, and they fit on the body very well. I'm hoping they bring him over to the cartoon collection, but I got him until they do. And then right here we got Korg. This is one of the orcs that left the faction, but he didn't want to join any of the other factions. He works on his own, hunts on his own, and lives in the Eternian jungle by himself. He's a loner. Right here we got Clubber Fang. Now this guy, he loves hurting people. He is a torturer for hire. King Randor actually hired his ass to get the information out of the palace guard that slept with his wife. He wanted to put the pain on his ass, and Clubber Fang did it. Right here we got Vexpar. He is an evil wizard, and he don't got no faction at all he wanted to belong to. He thought about joining the evil Horde, but at the end of the day, he wanted to just be on his own, and I don't blame him. He's got mad power in him, and he's a force to be reckoned with. Right here we got Hammer Time and Boom Boom, the Hammer Brothers. Now they just love hurting people. They take them big ass hammers and they pop people dead in their knees. And I'm sure that shit is painful as a motherfucker. Definitely two sick individuals. Right here we got the Evil Enforcer. I bought this kit off of RBL 3D. It was based on the artwork on the side of, I forget whose box it was, but yeah, his ass was on there. And this came out so perfect. I highly recommend people buying that kit. Right here we got Voodoo Man. This is the guy that didn't want to join any faction. The closest faction he almost joined was the Evil Horde because of them benefits, but ultimately he doesn't work well with others. He loves making voodoo dolls of people, and he loves torturing anybody that can get his hands on. He's crazy. For 203 we got Scorn. This was an orc that was happy to disband from his group. He didn't like them in the first place, but he also doesn't want to work for any other faction that's scarred him for life. He's also a loner, and he lives in the Eternia jungle. Right here we got Butch and Brutus, the Jackal Brothers. And these are crazy too right here. They love hurting people for money. And don't even gotta pay them that much. You just give them a couple cents, and they'll bust anybody up you want. If only they would have made it as palace guards, but they failed the test, so now they villains for life. Right here we got Chaos. Now this was an orc that was happy to leave the faction, just like everybody else. He actually went over to the Evil Horde. With the Evil Horde, they fired his ass because he had bad hygiene. He smelled too much, you know, Hordak, he don't got a nose so he can smell everything. For number 207, we got Alatar. And this is an evil wizard that lives by himself up in the mountains of Eternia. He got offered a job to be on the Evil Warriors with Skeletor, but ultimately he turned it down. He's not used to being around people, and he considers himself a hermit. Right here we got Mincemeat, an ugly looking motherfucker that loves to wield two big ass axes that he chops people up with. He's a serial killer. He got offered to join a couple of different groups, but once they took a look at his ass, they turned him away. For number 209, we got Crazy Larry. You wanna know why they call him Crazy Larry? Because his ass is crazy. He's got that big old gun, and he shoots people just for the hell of it. If you look at him the wrong way, he's gonna shoot you. And his ass got banned from Eternia for shooting random people. Right here we got Berserker and Obelisk. And this team of brothers, they love nothing more than robbing people and taking all they loot and then beat the shit out of them. The only people they trust is each other, and they will never work for any other faction for that reason. Plus they ass is greedy as shit, and they wouldn't want to share all they loot with the rest of a group. Up next we got Fucked Up. And you wanna know why his name is Fucked Up? Because if he catches your ass, he's gonna fuck you up. That's what he does best. He loves cracking bones and breaking jaws. This is a big ass man. He actually beat the shit out of Fisto one day. And because of that, Drunk He-Man wants to give him a one-on-one. For number 213, we got Red Bull. And once I seen this head, I knew I had to make a big ass bull man. And right here, I gave him wings. And because of that, I had to give him the color scheme of a Red Bull, you know what I mean? But unlike the drink, this Red Bull does not give you wings. He will actually cut your ass up because he's dangerous. He's actually been approached several times by the Evil Horde and Skeletor, but he don't want to join. Right here we got Tiger Man and Asher. Now Tiger Man, that was one of the first customs that I made when I started making Motu Customs. And he's got the power to manipulate fire. And then Asher was done by MegaCustomX. The kit came with the head and the feet, and it was based off a creature in the old mini-comic. Right here we got Captain Saber. I made him a while ago. This is one evil tiger guy. He used to know the creator when he was first starting out, and the creator was actually the person that helped his ass walk again and gave him them cybernetic feet. But once he realized how sick the creator was, he left that group altogether. And that's it, folks. All the bad guys that I felt like added that didn't make the cut for any other faction. And I just like it like that. A lot of these people, I can see them working on a couple of them factions, but ultimately, these individuals work better as solo bad guys. Because you know, some of these good guys, they just need random people to fight. You know what I mean? So they run into these guys. It don't always gotta be a faction war, because it's more than just that in Eternia. You see, we had good people, morally great people, and now bad people. And to be honest, I just might want to start doing videos, just one-off videos, where you see some of these good people get to some shit with some of the bad people. They just don't gotta be in a group to be able to, you know what I'm saying, for shit to pop off. And especially with that guy fucked up right there, I want to see him beat the shit out of somebody. But that's it for all the bad people. But I still got another group to cover. And that group right there, they're probably one of the most dangerous factions of them all. I wouldn't necessarily call them a faction per se, but you'll see what I'm talking about. But as far as these bad guys go, I love every single one, and definitely need it for my Motu universe. Right here we got anti-eternia. I wanted to showcase all these figures because, you know, we got anti-eternia He-Man, and he got a big-ass group of people from his world. All these was made by LunarEclipseCustoms, and he did a crazy job on each one. You see the details and all this shit. Every single figure that I'm gonna show you is basically every good guy in the Motu line converted over to an anti-eternia version. I started getting this first set off of him in the beginning of the year, and throughout the whole course of 2024, his skills have gotten better and better with each one. Like that AE Roboto right there, he looks so good. And then right here, the Owlbear, I added him into the line because he just looks right. And I love how he can get on all fours, but he can also stand up on his two legs. Right here, Holographo, he looks crazy. And that's the thing with all the anti-eternia figures, with a simple red and black and white in the eyes, any person can look evil as shit. Even Rock On looks demented. And right there, Zapman, he looks crazy. Let's see that little shank knife in his hand. And the cool thing about LunarEclipseCustoms is that he sells these figures on eBay. Well, maybe not these figures per se, but they could be any figure that you want. Like the other day, he showed me he's working on some pre-eternia snake men. I wish they was for me, but they're not. And they look bad-ass, oh, I swear. I actually got him working on some Motu Thundercats figures, and he's also working on all the bad guys turn good in the world of anti-eternia, and I cannot wait to see those. Now, with all the figures that I'm showing you, the process on how he goes about making them look like this, he dyes all the figures black. And then from there, he works in all the different shades of red to bring them to life. This right here, one of the first ones that I got of him in the first wave, and I love the way them wings look. It would definitely be cool to see Mattel expand on the anti-eternia line, because all they given us was anti-eternia He-Man, and that's probably all we'll ever get. Like that shit right there, an anti-eternia Moss Man. You see how he's all black furred up? That looks so good. Like, this is easy money. If Mattel just started dropping figures like this, would you buy an anti-eternia Frogmonger? I bet your ass would. Same thing with anti-eternia Man-at-Arms. He used the snake armor version, but it looks so good like that, especially with that crazy ass claw. And then right here, a personal favorite, anti-eternia Tila. She looks so good. Had to be done with the Cartoon Collection Buck. Far superior than the average Buck. And then right here, Kenzo Creations made anti-eternia Modi. I love the way them teeth look on his mouth. Right here with anti-eternia Stratos. This was a figure that I didn't ever really want, but once I seen it, I knew I had to have it. And then right here, anti-eternia Fisto, standing next to anti-eternia Stridor, which was done by Rizzo Customs. This is probably my favorite Stridor custom, just based on all the skulls around his neck. Damn, that looks good. And then right here, we got anti-eternia Clan Champ, standing next to the anti-eternia Wind Raider, also made by Rizzo's Customs. Look how he did that shit. Oh, it's beautiful. Right here, one of my favorite anti-eternia figures, anti-eternia Kodar. I love the spikes on the armor. And then right here for $242, anti-eternia Ramman. He's probably the most badass looking one out the bunch. Look how diesel he looks. They need this figure in the line. And then right here, it's crazy that the rulers of the sun have now been changed to the rulers of the moon. And I love the way that skull looks on the vest. And then right here, this anti-eternia Turtle Man, done by MegaCustomX. I love his design for that shell. you can easily take it off and put it on. I wish the Turtles of Grayskull did that shit. And then right here, I had to make me a quick anti-eternia King Randor just to hold me over. And so I got this next one right here, the anti-eternia King Randor 2000X. And he killed that shit with all the details with the different reds that makes it pop. Right here we got anti-eternia Wondar looking badass next to anti-eternia Battle Cat done by Joe Rizzo's Customs. I love the horns and all that in silver. Right here, anti-eternia Extendar. God damn, he looks good. All the details and the electronics definitely needed for the Origins line. And then we got some of the good guys. Beastman, I got the kit from Barbarossa Customs. And then I put together that Battle Panther. It was much needed for my He Skeletor. And I got it on point. And there it is, folks. Anti-eternia He-Man right there with the Cosmic Key. Ready to bring all his other anti-eternia warriors over there to Eternia to make drunk He-Man and all his family suffer for what he did to him. You can find all that shit out in my Motu stories. But right here, I love this whole diorama setup. It's crazy what a $5 tablecloth from Amazon will do for a display. And that's all that shit was. It really helps bring everything to life. All the flame effects going on, yes. This is a one-of-a-kind anti-eternia collection. Every single good guy turned to bad has been released so far in the Origins line. And these badass figures right here, they keep getting better and better. Great job to LunarEclipseCustoms for banging most of these bitches out. I cannot wait to see the next wave coming. But that's it, folks, for the anti-eternia group. But we still got one more group left that is a must to cover, because I got some interesting ones in there. Right here, we got the multiverse. Definitely important for the Motu line, because the Cosmic Key makes all that shit possible. Because right here, I got the Motu zombies. I got each one of these off a guy on eBay, and he did an amazing job on making our heroes look crazy. Zombified up. Oh, I love all the bite marks. Yeah, I know some of y'all is like, how is there a zombie faker? He's not even a real person. Well, there is, and that shit still looks hot. I especially love zombified merman. I'm pretty sure his ass smells as he's a dead fish. But with this whole group right here, definitely a force to be reckoned with for drunk He-Man. And then right here we got Super Skeletor and Super Evil Lyn. Once I seen that head, which is the Mythic Legion's head, I knew I had to make a souped up version of Skeletor. And then right there, that's Super Evil Lyn, based off the Netflix cartoon. I had to buy the Masterverse figure, break her ass down, and make her into a souped up Origins figure. And that shit looks right. I don't care what you say. Right here, we got Dragon Blaster Skeletor, made by Bombstaroutkast Customs. And this was based off some unreleased artwork that was gonna be a figure, but it never was made into one. But his ass made it, and that shit looks good. Right here, we got Dark He-Man from a different universe. Let's just say where he came from, Skeletor didn't exist, so he ended up taking that place in that universe. And you can see he don't shave because he's evil. Right here, we got Space Skeletor. I made him from the Masterverse version, much needed for the Origins line. And he came out looking badass. Up next for 262, we got Disco Skeletor. Now, I know I could have made him myself, but sometimes I just don't feel like it. So I bought his ass off of eBay. Right here, we got King Keldor. When I seen the Netflix show with his ass in it, one of my favorite characters, I knew I had to make an Origins version. And I love the way how his ass came out. Right here, we got Snake Man Skeletor. And from a different universe, he ended up working for the Snake Man. And I love the way how I did that vest with the shoulder pads. Definitely a version I had to see. Same thing with this one right here. Horde Skeletor. Let's just say if he never wanted to end up having his own faction, he ended up staying under the guidance of Horde, his ass would look like that. And there it is, folks. Different versions of our heroes and villains. I love the way these look. And the ones that I've gotten off other people, they fit into this category perfectly. This would definitely be considered a multiverse right here. And all this shit works into my Motu stories perfectly. All because of anti-eternia He-Man and that Cosmic Key. Where's that Cosmic Key? That shit works magic. And I'm definitely going to use a lot of these figures in upcoming stories.
Here comes a new challenger!
Oh shit! Yes, we got some more people, folks. This one done by Bombstaroutkast Customs. I forget the name for him 100%, but we just gonna call him Bigfoot. This was done off some artwork of an unreleased figure that never came out, but he definitely should. And then right here, I had to make a Panther Man with the Mythic Legion's heads. Oh, they look so good. And right here, I could definitely imagine this figure in the Motu line. I love the coloring that I gave his ass. He lives in the Eternian jungle. He doesn't get along with Beastman as his mortal enemy. Up next, we got Artillery, and I had to put him into the royalty group because he is an Eternian Palace Guard. Let's just say he's related to Man-at-Arms as his half-brother. He is a master of all forms of combat and one of the top members of the Royal Palace Guards. Up next, we got Lord Cerberus. This is an evil wizard that ended up joining the evil Horde because he's old and he needed them benefits, you know what I mean? That 401k plan that's gonna come in handy for retirement. He's almost at that ripe age of 95. Up next, we got Nexus. He's in the Killer Cyborgs because this is a creation that the creator made to help assist him in creating other robots. You know what I mean? It was like his right-hand robot right here. A Hustler got Robota. He got Nexus. I love how his ass came out. And then right here, I meant to add him in earlier, but I couldn't leave no figure uncovered. We got Serpentos. And this is the Snake Man that's been featured on a lot of different box art. And I had to bring his ass to life. He looks spot on. I know we'll get him eventually, but until then, I got it. And then last but not least, we got Bobby. Now, I know it. Some of y'all, this might not count as a custom, but you see he got that name tag on his ass. They know the figure like him with that name tag, so it counts to me.
Yeah, Mr. Home Arcade, yeah, that's some bullshit right there. That's definitely not a custom, and all that is a sticker on his chest. I seriously don't have time for your bullshit. And to be honest with you, Mr. Home Arcade, I'm in that 6.72% of individuals that just mute you and just watch what you got going on the screen. You must be clinically insane to come up with all these figures, Mr. Home Arcade. What do you think yourself as Motu Jesus or something?
I don't care if you muted my ass, but you still watched. So I got that watch time. And yeah, you can call my ass Motu Jesus. Look at all these figures right here that are now included in my Motu lore. 272 custom Motu figures. This was a groundbreaking experience for me and a long ass video to make. Oh, my ass is tired after this, but I'm glad I got it done. I have a passion for the Motu line and it shows right here. I want to give a special thanks to all the customizers out there that I have bought some of these customs from, because without them and all the hard work they put in to get these customs done, my collection would not be possible. They have truly helped me get a one-of-a-kind collection. And yeah, I put in my own bit of work too. I made over 200 some of these figures that y'all see in front of your ass. And it was fun. And guess what? I'm not gonna stop. I still got plenty more to make. And like y'all seen in the beginning of the video, there's over 150 plus figures that didn't make the cut. And to be honest, I'm glad I didn't add any more to this. Them last 4 at the end, they made it in there because it's been taking me so long to edit this video out. I just wanted to make sure I got everything perfect for y'all to see, with every figure numbered out and what faction they're in the corner and who made the figure. So a quick recap on everybody that we covered. All the factions, from the heroic warriors, to the evil warriors, to the snake men, to the evil horde, and then with the new groups I made, where we had the killer robots, then we had the Dino Men, we had the carnies, don't forget about the orcs, they're in every single group. Then we had the royalty, and then we had good people, morally gray people, bad people, and then the anti-eternia people, which was a husky-ass group on its own, and then the multiverse group. That's a lot right there, folks. And right there, you see right there on the front lines, the MHA figure, right there next to Collector. You see Big Jim right in that motherfucker. A whole bunch of figures. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun doing it. And I look forward to going to RetroCon this Saturday, because I'm gonna buy me a couple more heads to make some more figures. I still got more to add. I am not done yet, not by far. But until then, folks, thanks for watching. This has been a long video. I hope y'all made it through it. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching, folks. And if you like what you saw, do my ass a favor and drop me a like. Subscribe to the channel while you're at it. It ain't gonna hurt you, is it? Come on now. Go ahead and hit the button. I know you have to hit the button. Hit that goddamn button, drop a like. All right, I'm out of here.